Good morning. It's Wednesday Wisdom. That means we're halfway through another week already, which is just absolutely crazy that it just seems to go so fast, doesn't it? It's just like flying through the year. So we're here with the beautiful Faye. And hi, how are you going, Faye?
I'm fantastic, Elizabeth. How are you?
Good. I often so I got on this morning and I said to Faye, so how do we know each other? Because I get onto these interviews and I'm not sure who I'm going to talk to, and there's so many different ways that I meet people. But Faye and I actually live in the same area, and I met her at a networking event, Women with Altitude in Illawarra area, which is a new networking group. Well, we're rehashing it. So, and Faye is going to be talking to us about staying active, because I was really excited that Faye actually sells activewear as well. So
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. You live in this area?
I do. Excuse me. I've recently moved to this area. I was up in the Wollondilly area prior to this, but I found myself coming here every day from the Wollondilly to use the cycling track, to go to the beach. It's just such a beautiful area for staying active and getting motivated. So we recently moved down here at the beginning of the year, absolutely loving it.
So nice, isn't it?
It's beautiful, and it is so full of energy, with all age groups full of energy, which I really, really love to see, because that's something I'm really passionate about. So it's a great area for that. I'm a working mum of 5. I am an independent rep for Activewear, but I also work a day job as well. I have 5 kids. My youngest just turned 10.
Oh, well done. But that's a feat in itself. Like, I know what it was like with 2, so 5 is so good. Well done to you.
Oh, it's great, and it's great at Christmas time. But my eldest is nearly 31, so I've got quite the diverse age group there, which is great. But so staying active has sort of been a must for me. Being a parent for the last 3 decades, and having 5 children, you learn to be active all the time, to join in with them on their activities and whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so imperative to especially us women, that we stay active, so that we can, as we get older, we've got that ability to be flexible and to look after and grandkids and all the other stuff that's going to come in the future.
Absolutely,
right?
Yes.
And so like it's making a choice, isn't it? Like, am I going to be this type of grandmother, or this type of grandmother? Like the typical grandma you see sitting in the chair because she can't get up and do the fun things with the kids, right?
That's exactly right. And it's not even just grandparents that I've found can be like that, and it's through life choices. Now, I'm not talking about people who are incapable of being active because they've been struck down with illnesses or disabilities or whatnot, but I am talking about people who have the choice to be active. It's such an important thing to not take that for granted, to not take the ability to go out for a walk for granted. And a lot of people do. A lot of people, I don't think, realise how fortunate they are to have that choice to walk out their front door and walk down the road, or walk to the beach, or go for a swim. A lot of people don't realise how fortunate they are. I had a very active father. I had a very active father who was an older father. When I was born, my dad was 47. So he was already, in that age bracket of people who are maybe becoming grandparents instead of parents. But he was always active. For as long as I could remember, he was up with the sun and didn't come back in until the sun was down. He always lifted weights. My dad had these really old-fashioned, the old steel barbells and dumbbells, and every night without fail, he would be out there and lift weights. We used to call him Popeye because he looked like Popeye. Always, mimicked the eating the can of spinach. A lot of people watching are probably way too young to know what I'm talking about. But later on in Dad's life, he was struck down with Parkinson's. So he lost that ability to be active. Never once complained. I never heard a negative word come out of my dad's mouth about his condition. And I think that made me realise, looking around at other people who were completely able to be active, but used a lot of excuses not to be, it made me realise the majority of people's headspace or mindset when it came to activity. I'm not going to call it a laziness, but I'm going to call it a lack of enthusiasm to be active.
Yeah. It's really interesting, isn't it? I like where you're going with this, because, that's one of the things that I do is like conscious creation, right? And so we have got a choice, and sometimes it's that we're listening to, the subconscious that's telling us, we've got to do this instead, or we don't have time, and we're, like, I'll be active when, or I'll go for a walk when, and it just like, it's this future thing, and it never actually happens. And the next thing we know, we're getting older, or things are starting to shift in the body, and then it makes it even harder. So
absolutely,
yeah.
Just when you said then about I'll be active when, one of the biggest things I hear in the activewear business is people saying to me, "Oh, I don't have the body for activewear." And that always astounds me, because somewhere in all the marketing of activewear and the glossy magazines and the airbrushed pictures, it's become quite a myth that you need to be an activewear model or a fitness model before you can purchase activewear or before you can put on activewear. Activewear is actually functional clothing to help you be active, regardless of size, shape, age, sex, gender, anything like that. It's clothes that you wear to help you when you're being active, when you're walking, when you're running, when you're riding a bike, when you're hiking.
Yeah. It's not tight. It's comfortable. It's firm, and it's flexible, right? So that you can actually, absolutely,
and functional. And the other thing too is, it's been proven, scientifically proven, that if you actually put on activewear, you are more likely to be active.
I can tell you, I've actually had that experience, because I've had those. I was brought up not necessarily to be active. My mum has never been someone to be active, and hence now she's in a late 70s and not active at all. She's actually bedbound, and and so that's something that I've had to strive and shift in my head about activity. And so I've watched myself go into those spaces of, I was living in Sydney looking after her, and I was living in a suburb, so the only place to walk was down the street and on a main road. And so I used to watch my mind say, but if I'm walking down that main road, I'm getting all these fumes, and and it's not nice. And so, but I'd have to push myself to, well, actually it's better than sitting at home doing nothing. And also look at the trees, don't think about the noise of the house, just be in there and do the activity. And
That's
so
exactly right.
and so one of the ways I used to get around that was I'd put on my gym clothes, and straight away there's a shift, right? There's a shift in who you are and how you feel, and next thing you're walking,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There's a psychology to it.
Oh, there is. And people often say, I'm waiting for motivation, or when I get motivated, but you have to create motivation. Motivation doesn't happen until you've created it.
It's not a little thing out there in the sky that you got to pluck down. Yeah, so true.
It is. And when I refer to staying active, I'm not necessarily talking about gym junkies. Like as soon as you start talking about being active, people think, oh, no, I'm not one of those people. I think I'm one of those people. It could be as simple as taking your dog for a walk. It could be as simple as parking your car further away from the shops and walking to the door. It's tiny little changes that you can make in your life. Taking a flight of steps instead of an elevator in the shops is always a big one that actually makes you feel like you've achieved something when you reach the top. It may only be 2 flights of stairs, but you go, hey, you know what? I feel good for doing that. And it's all these tiny little choices that we really, really need to face every day to think about our health. It can mean the difference between reaching the age of 70, being able to go on a hiking holiday with friends or family, or reaching the age of 70 and not leaving your house. Life choices are a massive thing when it comes to your quality of life. Staying active really, really benefits the quality of your life. For me personally, being fit is fun. Far more fun than not being fit. I don't ever want to say no to an adventure because of lifestyle choices that I've made.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the things that I implanted in myself years and years ago. Like, I think when I started turning 40, I started thinking about, there's a thing called age and I'm doing it, like it's something that's actually happening to me. And so my mum has been a great teacher in that, because, I can see what I'm choosing not to be. And so, that's her choice and her journey. However, it's been really good to go, well, actually that's the motivation to, get up and actually be active, because I've got 2 kids that are 27 and actually 28 and 26. I thought about the other day and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's 28 now. And so, I potentially could have grandchildren somewhere along the line. And I want to be that, that mother and grandmother that is able to jump on, those adventures if I want to, and just for my own personal lifestyle, like I see, you'd see the 90-year-olds that are out there and they're, walking still and just so much more vibrant to live in that, to live like that rather than, in your cave sort of thing. So it's about doing those little things, as you said, just, little steps, and they make a huge difference, right?
Absolutely.
Do you want to, very basic, right? Most of us sort of know this, but, do you have a little bit of information about what it does in the body to be active?
Well, to be active doesn't just have physical effects. It has mental effects. Your physical activity has tenfold effects on your headspace. So mental health is a big thing that is affected by people, whether people are active or not. Obviously, sitting around being sedentary and dormant is not good. It doesn't release endorphins. It doesn't release any feel-goods. It doesn't help the way your body functions, and your brain is part of your body, so your headspace is going to suffer if you are physically suffering. Again, and the same with your nutrition. What you're putting into your body, the fuel you're putting into your body, is not only going to affect you physically, it's going to affect you mentally because of your body not being able to work correctly. I know myself, if I am not active, my headspace spirals. I'm in a downward spiral straight away. The second I step outside and become active, there is a massive improvement in my own headspace. I found it also with my kids. My kids, if they stay sedentary, become moody. But if they're out being active, they're a lot more energetic. They're a lot happier. They have smiles on their faces. I don't know the science behind it, but I do know the effect that it has.
Yeah. Well, even absolutely. And just the little bit that I know from my own, I've been a remedial massage therapist for 25 years. I don't know how long, a long time. and I just remember, like the circulation that the heart, like pumps the heart so the blood goes. But one of the things is that the lymphatic system doesn't have a pump, right? So for the lymph to go through and circulate through the body, it actually needs action. Like you need to be moving your legs, and that's one of the reasons for the challenges when you go on long flights with thrombosis and stuff like that is because you've got to move your legs while you're sitting down so that you're getting you get that shift happening. So
absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about your activewear, because that's how we like when you said you did activewear, I was like, I need some new stuff. So tell us a little bit about what you do with that.
Okay, so in January of this year, I became an independent rep for Zyia Active. Prior to that, I had my own activewear brand, which was Jinx Activewear. I started that back in 2018, but in 2021, I had quite a traumatic experience in my personal life that made me step back from the world for quite some time, and I actually closed down that business. I felt really guilty for my customers to the point where I gave away my activewear. So people could send in postage parcels and I gave them the items that they were after and just sent them out to them. January, Zyia Active was launched in Australia. It's the first of its kind of activewear because it's actually direct marketing. You can have party plans for activewear. It's just amazing. So I was first in line to become an independent rep for Zyia Activewear in January. So I've become that. Fantastic. I've found the difference between having my own range and having the backing of a huge company like Zyia Active.
The security and the freedom, right?
And the range. The range that is released weekly with Zyia Active, we have new releases weekly with massive ranges in sizing, colours, quality is just second to none. That sort of range I couldn't do by myself. Not at all. Not have weekly releases like that with the diversity of them. So I'm really loving it. It's really exciting, the ranges that come out and the range of people that it covers, from children, men, women, and the different sizing and the different types of activewear, ranging from skimpy little hustle shorts to full tracksuit pants and hoodies and jackets, tennis dresses.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just, the range is fantastic. So I absolutely love that. And I love the fact that people can I can also help anybody else who would like to work from home, because they too could become an independent rep. And I think one thing lockdown taught us was that if you can work from home, you are already
absolutely. And also not to rely on one stream of income, right?
Exactly.
To have that range of diversity, just have that little side hustle.
Yeah, the side hustle that you can choose to keep it just for yourself as discounted activewear, or turn it into a massive empire. It's something that you have complete control of. So that's a really exciting thing to do as well. And if that sort of motivates people to become more active within their own business, that would be fantastic. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just sitting here going, hoodies and stuff. So during winter, right? One of the things I'm actually I lived up in Far North Queensland for 17 years, so to move down here was a big challenge. It was like my whole system freeze. And so but one of the things that I have noticed that's crazy about that is that I actually, when it starts getting winter, I actually really love getting up early in the morning, even though it's cold, and going for a walk. And I was doing that in Sydney, but especially now that I live at the beach. So I've got the opportunity to, I watch the sunrise and sunsets and all sorts of stuff from the marina. So to have a hoodie and all those warm things to go with it. So So you've got a website. I know I've checked it out myself. So you've got a
I do have a website. It's myzyia.com.au /Faye. So Zyia is spelled Zyaa. It means light. So myzyia.com.au /Faye. Or you can find me across social media on Jinx Fitness, Zyia Active, or Faye. You can find me on Instagram.
And so one of the things that I'll get you to do is if you can add your details and links into the chat afterwards once we're finished.
Absolutely.
And anyone that's watching on YouTube, if you want to hit that little bell, the whole deal, so that you get to see what we're putting on, and we'll have all of the details for Faye in the comments in there as well. And so this is one of the things that I often forget to do, and I just remembered. So I'm going to ask you, before we go, Faye, have you got some words of wisdom? Is there any advice that you were given that really stuck out and supported you somewhere in your life?
Yes, there's actually two pieces of advice that I always carry with me in my head. The first one is stop worrying about what other people think. That is the biggest thing, particularly when it comes to living your own life to the fullest. The second you drop worrying about what other people think, it is so liberating, and you will have a lot more fun with your own life. That's the thing we have to remember.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The second one, which is a bit of a funny one, is make your bed every morning.
Yeah.
Definitely make your bed every morning, because it starts off your day being disciplined. And
yes.
That creates the pattern for the rest of the day. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's so true. Hey, it's actually part of, and it's active, right?
Yes.
This is the start of being active. You're doing something to activate your mind and to create discipline and tasks in your day. So, yeah
definitely.
I love it. Sounds beautiful. Thank you so much, Faye, and lovely to see you again.
Thank you for having me. It's been fantastic.
Take care, and love to everyone. If you're watching and you want to hit the hashtag replay and just tag myself or Faye if you want to ask any questions. But all the links will be below. So take care, and we'll catch you soon.